using an OER textbook that we created for technical writing for engineers by curating material that was OER. And it's been about 3 years. It's been highly successful. It's been successful for a tool I've used and the engineers have used. I'll give you an example. This quarter I had a student come up to me and let me know she's using the digital textbook on her iPad, writing notes, scribbling questions, and she has links at the end of the chapter to go out if she needs more information. So her knowledge base has increased drastically. And I've been able to use it in the class to show students where we are, what to read, and facilitate deep discussions.
So we chose OER resources for our introductory chemistry courses because the resources that were available were incredibly expensive, and when you looked at it across all of the students who were taking our courses, students were spending a few $100,000s a year collectively. The process, once we had identified a text, the one deficit that we had identified was that the free text didn't have quite the same level of problems that were available for students. So what we did was we just took our existing resources, instructors who had their own problem sets and quizzes, we pulled those together, we hired some students to curate that and align those problems with the new open resource text. And so in the end we ended up with a workbook that is available to all of our instructors that's actually better than what was available in terms of questions in the back of the texts that were previously available in expensive versions.
I piloted my OER textbook in my classes a few years ago, and at that point I asked my students for feedback as they were reading, and what they did was they had this really cool close reading moment where they were able to engage with the text at a deeper level, point out errors that they noticed, document design principles. So they were using technical writing concepts as they were reading a text on technical writing. So it was a really cool way to actively engage with the textbook itself.
Now that I've switched to OER, my students are grateful that they have access to all of the materials for free, and in turn they're much more engaged. Conversations in the classroom are very dynamic, and the comprehension of the material is exceptional.
My use of it is as a supplemental text, so I will let students know where it's available, and then I will recommend to them that they visit either the content of specific subsections of the chapters, and then I like to send them to some of the available resources and links at the end of the chapters.
One of the main things about college was that I always heard kids talking about student loans, paying for stuff, and on top of that, there's textbooks which cost hundreds of dollars, and kids will use it for one quarter, not even a whole quarter, they'll use it a few times throughout the quarter and then never use it again. And it's basically, what's important to me is that OER has provided me a lot of opportunity because I already have a lot to deal with as a college student financially, and the OER textbook that I've been using in technical writing for engineers, it seems to have all the info that I need. It doesn't seem to be lacking anything, or it doesn't seem to be that much different from a $200 textbook that I buy and never use. And also, it's really nice how OER is a digital text, so I don't have to carry around 15-pound textbooks in my backpack around campus.
As a student, OER materials just mean opportunity. Not only does it mean equity, we don't have to pay for materials, having access to it on day one, not mattering what financial status or like racial status or anything like that. It also just means the opportunity for students to contribute, or for faculty, to create their own materials. For me to see a faculty member or my own professor making the textbook, I'm like, that's so much cooler than just having like another publisher across the seas create it. And to sometimes even see professors use their own students in making OERs, like videos or even their own textbook. And this leads into this idea of open pedagogy, which is just about empowering the student in the classroom. And why shouldn't students have power in the classroom? And it's not about like disrespecting each other, it's about like empowering each other to learn more and to go further than what we ever expected.
I highly recommend using an OER textbook or a zero-cost textbook. It really helps the students engage with the material because it's free for them.